This is Tyrone coming after the CCB News. Invasive species have infected modern life severely in the past few years by causing native species to go extinct. Invasive species are plants, animals, or pathogens that are not native to the ecosystem and will likely cause harm. Because of invasive species, native species are going extinct at a rate 1,000 times faster than normal. We have an expert in the field with us today who will tell us some more about higher extinction rates due to invasive species. Here we have Dlydykgulfigsiyykfyjajyfkysulchfs, an expert on invasive species and zebra mussels.
Invasive species can outcompete native species for resources such as food and shelter. They also usually have reproductive advantages as well. For example, zebra mussels feed on plankton, and each female reproduces around 5 million eggs in her lifetime. Due to their high reproductive rate and the fact that they eat plankton, which native fish also eat, they can outcompete native fish. Invasive species have no natural predators in the area that they are introduced, so there are very little natural sources to control their population. Zebra mussels, like other invasive species, are driving native ones to extinction, according to the National Wildlife Federation.
Thank you very much, Dlydykgulfigsiyykfyjajyfkysulchfs. Now we will travel to a local fisherman to see how extinction affects her life due to the invasive species known as zebra mussels.
I am a local fisherwoman, and over the past 20 years, the amount of fish has severely decreased. Zebra mussels are depleting the amount of food the fish have to eat, driving them extinct. I can barely catch enough fish to feed my family. 10 years ago, there was plenty of fish for everyone, but now I live in extreme poverty because I cannot catch enough fish. The amount of fish have severely decreased, and I think that it is being caused by zebra mussels.
Thank you very much. Now we head back to the studio. This is Tyrone, back after the CCB News. A common invasive species known as leafy spurge has infested many local farms in North Dakota. This plant has such deep roots that it is immune to being removed by grazing or uprooting, and has caused a lot of trouble for farmers. Now we travel to a lab to talk to an expert on leafy spurge. Here we have Dlydykgulfigsiyykfyjajyfkysulchfs, an expert in farmland and invasive species, specifically leafy spurge. Dr. Dlydykgulfigsiyykfyjajyfkysulchfs, what can you tell us about where leafy spurge came from and how it got here?
Leafy spurge, also known as Euphorbia estella, is originally from Europe. This weed was introduced to the United States in the early 1800s in a bag of seeds introduced and has since spread out and infested many places across the country.
Thank you very much, Dlydykgulfigsiyykfyjajyfkysulchfs. But how has leafy spurge spread over the last few decades?
In 1979, leafy spurge occupied 2.5 million acres in North America. By 2005, 4.6 million acres were infested by leafy spurge. Leafy spurge is considered almost cancerous. As soon as there is an infestation, the farmland is quickly turned unusable. This information is from the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dlydykgulfigsiyykfyjajyfkysulchfs. Now we will travel to a cattle farmer to see how leafy spurge has affected her cattle.
Here in North Dakota, leafy spurge has become a common pest. When there is an infestation, livestock can no longer graze in the area. However, there have recently been a few studies showing that goats in particular eat leafy spurge and grass indiscriminately. This has led to quite a few farmers giving up the traditional farm animals such as cattle or sheep and raising and milking goats instead. Usually when there is an infestation, farmers will either release flea beetles or kill the spurge using chemicals.
Thank you very much. But how much money have you spent trying to solve this leafy spurge problem?
I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars.
Thank you very much for that information. Now we head back to the studio. Globalization has increased tourism, trade, and much more worldwide transportation. This causes invasive species to enter an ecosystem to which they are not native in. And this causes the native species there to go extinct. And when these native species go extinct, the food web starts to collapse. And once this food web starts to collapse, the rest of the ecosystem will eventually collapse. And we are a part of the ecosystem. So we must stop spreading the invasive species and help protect our world. We must create mechanisms to stop invasions from happening in the first place. For example, checking the cargo of boats, ships, and planes for possible invasive species, so that we can stop them from invading a place in the first place. Also, if they're already in an area, we must detect them quickly and move quickly to stop them from destroying the ecosystem.
According to the Climate Institute, climate change, which is caused by human pollution, is altering vital aspects of the environment, stressing ecosystems and increasing the chance of invasion. These invasions are changing the natural ecosystem of the world, and they must be stopped.
Thank you very much for listening to this very special edition of the CCB News. Till then, this is Tyrone, and I'll see you again next time. Blue ink, become a Smurf today. If you need to remove your leafy spurge, call 1-858-555-6234.